As a network administrator, one of the more common problems you will encounter is the issue of not knowing who is using which computer. And this particular problem is documented on the FastTrack website as problem number 2 in the 10 problems with 10 solutions. So let's just take a quick look at that problem. Unable to find out who owns what computer. And if we look a little more closely at the problem itself and also a script solution to it, then we want to find out who is using which computer. And there is a field in Active Directory called the description field for the computer, which can ideally be used just to record that information. So if we scroll down a little bit there, what we can see is a couple of script lines. First of all, a run line. So that's going to go into our pre-logon script. And secondly, we have a set computer description line or command, and that's going to go into its own file. So we're going to use those two commands with a couple of very minor modifications. So let's go over to the script editor and pull up the logon script as well as the other commands, or the other scripts I should say, and get that to work. Now there's the logon script, but first of all let's look at setting the description, and we'll start with the single script line to set the computer description. So what we're doing here is simply setting the Active Directory computer description field, and we're setting it with the value of the current computer name, then some text, this computer currently used by, and then we are passing a parameter, or I should say accepting a parameter from the pre-logon script, and that parameter is the username. So just with that one line we're going to be able to set the computer description in Active Directory. Now before I put it into the logon script, let's run a little test script, and I've prepared one already comprising 2 lines, and the top line is the run command as documented on the web page. And what we're doing here is running an external program. In this case it's just the FastTrack program, fasttrack.exe, so all that will do is return the full path and the actual executable of the FastTrack engine. Then we are passing to that a script. That's what the /s parameter means, use script, and then the name script, which is adcomp-description.fsh, that's that one we just looked at, the single line set computer description. To that script we are passing a parameter, /p, and the parameter is username. So that's where we define the parameter. I could have used any string of characters for that, but I chose to use username. And we are passing to the username parameter the username function, and then we're running this program, fasttrack.exe, with administrator credentials, and there's the administrator username and the encrypted administrator password. The second line I'm using here is simply a show message to just display and wait for input from the user what I have done, and I would take that message out once we are satisfied that it's working. Now let's quickly go and have a look at the current description for my machine, which is the admin machine. So if I pull up the record for the admin computer, you can see there's currently no description in there at all. So let's run this script. Remember, this script here, run adcomp-desc, is going to call this other script which will actually do the set of the computer description. So I press F5 to run the script. It sets the field, and there's the show message, and it says this computer currently used by Steve. So if we now go over and have another look at the Active Directory information, there it is, it's been populated. So that's what I want to see. We can click OK with that. So now what we can do is put these 2 lines into the pre-logon script. So let's go over to the pre-logon script, and just to save a little time, I have already done this here. So let's copy these lines up a bit further, put them there, and uncomment 4 lines. So there's the 2 lines that we just ran. And I've also added a remove splash and remove small splash to take away these. Otherwise they would be displayed behind the show message. So no change there. Oh, I have made one change. In fact, I've made it the user full name rather than just username, because username is the login name, whereas user full name will return first name and last name. Okay, so we save that. Let's run that as another test as the administrator. There's the splash screen, welcome to the network, connecting the network drives. Now we remove both of those, and there it is, this computer currently used by Steve Dodson. Alright, now that's in the pre-logon script already, which is running from the domain netlogon folder. The only other thing I would have to do is copy over this script here, the script which is called adcompdescription.fsh. I would have to make sure that that is saved into the deployment netlogon fsh bin folder, and I've already done that. So if I just go over and show you, there it is. adcompdescription is already saved there, so it's available for users when they log in. So fingers crossed, all going well. If we switch over to the user machine and log off and log on as my test user, log on as John, full name John user, we'll see our 2 splash screens. Then the computer description is set. There's the message. Close that. Let's go back to Active Directory. Just make sure that this computer now has been set correctly, and there it is. Okay. And the final thing I would do once I'm satisfied that this is working is simply comment out that, because we don't want our users seeing that particular message. That was just for our testing to make sure it's working. So there's a quick way to set your Active Directory description field so you know who is using which computer.